Hi everybody, and welcome back to Plastic Models by a Regular Dude and another short in-box review, number 4. So the next kit in my reviews I'm doing for my friend Keith Short, some model kits he has. We have the Amusing Hobby IDF, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, so I'm just going to pronounce it. IDF Shot Cal Aleph. Valley of Tears 73 in 1/35th scale. Kit number 35A048. So I've never had any dealings with Amusing Hobby yet, but from what I hear, they're good kits, and someday I'm sure I'll tackle one. But Keith handed this over to me to do a review for him, and that's what we're going to do. So let's take a look at the box. We got some nice box art on the front here. Very yellow in appearance. Bloke with some binoculars. And the Shot Cal, which I believe is based off the Centurion. Side shows obviously 3D CAD renderings. The other side more 3D and such. So that is the outside of the box. So let's bust the box open and see what's in there. Alright, first off, let's take a look at the instructions. So, the instructions, it's not glossy paper, it's just plain paper, whatever size that is. Nice color, illustration like on the box top. The usual stuff, different languages here, English, and a couple of Asian languages, of which I'm not sure what they are. Then you have your assembly guide icons down here, just like any other kit nowadays. And then you have the sprue breakdown here: A, B, C, F, G, K, L, M, N. I forgot D. Got some clear parts, lower hull, photo etch, tow cable, and some 3D printed parts. That is pretty cool. And there's also a figure, but we'll get to that later. So basic instructions starts with the suspension. The print quality is really, really nice, really sharp. The illustrations look to be good. Again, I'm not real used to Amusing Hobby, but it looks pretty cool. And then we have the tracks, which look to be kind of a snap together workable affair. It's showing no cement, so that will be interesting to see what those look like, and if they work really well, that's a good thing. But just basically going through all of the assembly steps here. Not much really to look at. Other than the illustrations look to be pretty nice, and it follows the usual suspension, lower hull, upper hull, then onto the turret, then turret accessories such as machine guns, searchlights, baskets, that type of thing, main gun, and then looks like you have the option to either do it with a, looks like an M2 Browning machine gun mounted over the main gun, or a searchlight. So apparently that's where you have to decide what you're going to do, if you're going to do this or that. So that's kind of cool. It gives you a couple options. And then the back shows decal placement. That must be the decals right there. So that is the instructions. So next, let's talk about the styrene parts. So first we have the one-piece lower hull. Well, I say one piece, you're missing the front and the back, but the bottom and the sides are one piece. Has a little bit of texture to it. No weirdness going on. There is a sprue gate there that needs to be cleaned up. But other than that, it looks pretty good. No, it really doesn't seem to have any flash. A little bit right there maybe, but looks good. Has some nice well detail underneath, so if that's the case, it must be pretty nicely detailed up top. But that's all. First sprue is Sprue A, and as you can see, it comes in a nice plastic bag. Keep everything from getting scuffed. Lord knows you don't want a tank to be scuffed. Still humor there. So let's see what we got. So we have, looks like the whole top where the turret sits. I'm assuming rear engine deck. The front, I'm assuming the front. Driver's hatch maybe. Some suspension components. The side skirts. I'm assuming these would be the idler adjustment. The idler adjusters. Then we have some real small fine parts here, and they look to be molded really nicely. Not seeing any obscene seam marks. There are some seams, but they're very, very, very faint, so that'd be really easy to clean up. But these have nice detail down on the inside there. You got filler caps here, which are molded on instead of being separate parts, which can oftentimes be kind of nice. Then we have something interesting here on the inside of this plate. All of these holes are labeled, so I'm sure that has something to do with which holes you drill out for what version of the vehicle you're building. It's not really damaged, but the only thing I can see that, would be something that might be something to watch for is these parts here have twisted out. So they've twisted on the sprue gates, but they haven't come off. So, and being whole components inside behind these skirts, no big deal. You're not ever going to see it. But that is Sprue A. Next is Sprue B. And this is more of the engine deck detail, I'm assuming. These lifting handles here for opening those hatches, they're molded on as one piece. So if a person wanted to do some crazy detailing, I'm assuming if those are the handles, but if someone wanted to do some detailing, you cut them off and make your own wire grab handles. Front plate, fenders with storage bins on the sides. Not sure what those parts are. More plates. This looks like it has hinge detail there. These are storage lids of some kind. Has nice latch detail on that. A couple of shovels, sledgehammer, a couple of pick handles. And then we have looks like the final drive units here, and they have some really nice, pretty heavy cast texture on it. And then all this nice bolt detail here and around the edges. So all that looks really good. No flash, no weird seams, nothing real heavy duty to clean up, it looks like. So that's Sprue B. There are two Sprue Cs for obvious reasons. You have both halves of the idlers and the drive sprocket. This thing here, that thing there. I know those are technical terms, but you'll have to pardon me. Pickaxe head, pick head to go with those handles earlier. Tow hook eyes, maybe. That's what it looks like, because it looks like cable texture around the edge. But that's really nice because there doesn't seem to be a seam, or at least much of a visible seam running around that cable detail. So that's pretty nice. Hole fitments, places where there's towing hook eyes or whatever you want to call them. But two of those, Sprue B. Next is Sprue D. There are 4 of these. And again, we got some twisted parts here on these suspension parts. But since they're suspension parts, even if something were to get kind of messed up, you wouldn't notice. But it doesn't look like any damage. But you got some suspension arms there, road wheels. Now, one thing that's kind of weird about these road wheels, don't know if you can see it, but they seem to be kind of sunk in the middle. And I'm sure they should be kind of more flat. So that would take a little bit of sanding to correct. So a little bit of it's almost like a sink mark going around the circumference of the road wheels. Again, nothing that can't be handled, and considering that the suspension for the most part is behind side skirts, not really that big a deal. Looks like return rollers here, more looks like axle caps, whatever you want to call them, caps that go over the end. Nice bolt detail going on there, bolt and nut. More fasteners there. Little bit of seam, parting seams on the edges of these parts to clean up. But again, it's very, very faint, and I don't think it would be that hard to clean up. And it doesn't look like the molds were slipped when they were molded. But it's kind of hard to tell, but looks good. So there are 4 of these, Sprue D. And we jump up to Sprue F. So maybe the Sprue E is for a different version of the this kit. I don't know. Lots of heavy cast texture. That's kind of nice. Little, I think they call them footman loops. Tying stuff down. Again, nice latch detail on these bins here. You can see this is twisted down a little bit. So if it were to break off, it might create a little problem back there, but you're going to fill a seam back there anyway. But again, really heavy, nice cast texture. Hopefully you can see that. On the top, on the sides. Looks like the commander's hatch ring, molded on periscopes, as opposed to individual periscopes, individual parts for periscopes like most modern kits. But with everything in place, you might not be able to see them anyway. It does look like there are some sink marks in the back of the some of the periscopes. But again, it may not be visible at all. Lots of real tiny fine parts here. I mean, look at that part 9 right there. That is ultra small. And it does have a bit of a seam line on it to clean up. So that's one you'd really have to be careful. Split hatch here with interior detail, and the nice thing is it doesn't look like there are any push pin marks, ejector pin marks on those small parts. Now there is one on this right here, which may be the gun to travel lock. There's one right there that would have to be cleaned up and filled. There's one on this side as well, so something might have to be cleaned up. Mantlet, really nice cast texture on that. So it all looks pretty good. That is Sprue F. Then we have Sprue G, the internal part of the gun mount, commander's hatch, I'm guessing. This right here, not sure what that is. A reel of some kind, maybe. Don't know. A lot of small fittings. Browning 30 .30 caliber machine gun in a cradle. It has a ejector pin mark there, but it's on the high part, so it should be easy to fix. Again, might not be visible once it's in the mount. But again, the molding looks pretty good. Not much as far as seam lines to have to clean up. But that looks pretty good. So that's Sprue G. Here we have Sprue K. Another .30 caliber without a mount. And no ejector pin marks, so that's nice. Another tow cable eye. A fuel or water can. I'm not sure which one that would be. Here is a machine gun receiver part. Not seeing a barrel. I don't know what that is. Here's a cradle here for the .30 cal, I'm assuming. And we have this here, which I don't know what it is. More bins of some kind with some nice latch detail. The details, small details on here are really nice. Pretty sharp. Look good. This rounded piece here. If there's, I'm sure there's a parting seam line there, but it's very, very, very faint, so it should be really easy to clean up. So again, some nice molding. Sprue K. Sprue L. So let's see here. I'm assuming that's part of the gun. This dome thing here, nice cast texture on it, nice cast texture here. Towing eyes, clevises, whatever you want to call them, those look nice. These I'm thinking are fire extinguishers. They look nice. Nice detail on those. I'm thinking that's a smoke grenade launcher right there. It's got a little grip and all that. But I don't know. I'm just guessing. Antenna mount has a nice spring detail there for to allow it to flop around. These rods here, maybe gun cleaning rods, nicely done. And then the rear deck, which looks really nice. Hinge detail looks good. Nice little handles here. They're molded in place, but they look really good, very fine. And there are casting marks all right there. In between these hinges. That looks really good. So, some nice nice molding going on there. Nice detail. Sprue L. Sprue M. Looks like the main gun. The searchlight body. That looks like the travel lock there. I don't know what that other thing was. More small fine parts. More of these. That is a pry crowbar kind of thing. Again, if there's mold seam lines on there, they're very faint. 50 caliber. Detail looks pretty good on there. The cooling jacket looks, the holes are really deep, really nice, so it'll take weathering really well. Paint, washes, all that kind of stuff. Ejector pin mark right there on the receiver, but it's not too bad. Ammo cans, ammo boxes here look pretty decent. Hinge detail here looks good. Small belt of ammunition looks pretty nice. The detail on this searchlight, and it's kind of nice how it's slide molded, so you don't have a seam anywhere around on the outside other than the mold parting line. Those are really faint. Detail on it's really nice though. Gun travel lock looks good. Nothing weird to have to clean up there. So yeah, that is which one is Sprue M? And the last styrene sprue, Sprue N. This looks like the rear hull plate. And we have a bunch of little parts here of which I know nothing about. Some of them are lifting eyes, maybe headlight guards. A lot of really small parts. A filler cap of some kind, armored filler cap that's got some really nice texture on it. This here looks like a strap type tie down for this part here. Detail looks good on it. Sledgehammer. I don't know what this is, but it looks nice. Looks like some kind of grips of some kind. There's one there and one there. But this one has a lot of nice little detail stuff going on it. We have these here. I'm thinking part of the exhaust. It's like a cast armored cover. It's got some nice raised foundry markings or whatever they are. Nice and sharp. Headlights. I'm thinking that's a phone box there. That can be posed open or closed. Could be wrong. I was wrong one other time. And a shovel. Lots of little teeny tiny parts. These must be the tail lights. And it all looks good. So that is Sprue N. Alright, so next up we have all these little tiny bags. So I'm not going to open this up because I don't want to be responsible for lost links. These are pretty small, but they look really good. Very faint mold seam line there, but negligible. No ejector pin marks, no sprue gates to clean up. And they have little pins inside of these hinges, so snapping together. Be interesting to see how they hold up with you know, moving them around and stuff like that to put them together. Yeah, those look pretty good. The weird thing is though, that sure doesn't look like enough tracks for both sides, but I could be wrong. But yeah, they look good though. The molding on them looks really good. So that's the tracks. Okay, then we got some 3D printed parts here. So it looks like a couple little covers with some handles. This plate here, whatever this is for, hull plate I'm sure, and then a barrel or part of the barrel. But they look to be pretty nice. Again, I'm not going to take these out of the bag. You can kind of see how they are. If they are 3D printed, I'm going to go ahead and take one part out. If these are the 3D printed parts, they're pretty smooth. There's a little bit of striation going on that's common on 3D printed parts, but on this side, doesn't matter. I'm sure that's the back side. And they have like little identification letters, like those are C. This one here is P. But that looks good. Little bit of a line right there, so real quick touch up with sander would fix that. Little tiny little bumps around this edge here, which I think are artifacts from the 3D printing process. So that's the 3D parts there. And we have this. It's got some I don't know what that is. It might be string, but if it is, it's not fuzzy at all. It's some good looking stuff for tow ropes. And then springs, I'm assuming for the suspension, so you can have something be workable. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. So nice, looks like brass, or at least brass plated springs. Then we have the photo etch. It's photo etch. What can you say? It's got some nice raised detail on here, bolt or rivet detail. Same with these. Seems very flexible, which is nice. It's not that real rigidy kind of stuff. I'm not sure what those are, but it's got some nice detail on the top there. The mesh detail on these screens, it looks like it's woven stuff, not just flat. And it is sided because it's real smooth on this side. These little parts here have nice indented detail on there. These plates here are really nice. They have numbers embossed on them. Not sure what the parts are for, but whatever they are, they look good. So, manageable amount of photo etch. Here we have the kit decals. Again, I'm not going to open these up, but just feeling them through the bag here, they seem fairly thin and fairly simple. Solid white. You don't have to worry about register or anything like that with the colors. And then this, I am assuming, is the lens for the spotlight or searchlight, whatever you want to call it. And it looks to be very, just looking through it, it's really nice. It's like not distorting my fingerprint any. So it's a nice flat piece. There's no visible waviness or anything. So nice decals, nice clear part. The last of the kit stuff is this right here. And we've got a nice little, I'm assuming, a resin figure. No, it might be 3D printed. No, I'm going to say it's resin. Nice looking figure. Detail looks good here. I can take this out of the bag because there's only 2 things in here. Yeah, that might be 3D printed. I don't know. Because it's got this weird base and this weird little stick thing going on there. Looks pretty good. Now that would be nice right there, because as you can see, the poor bloke doesn't have any hands. Oh, but wait. There they are. Make it easy to paint the face and those details around the helmet there with the communications gear. Nice zipper detail going on there. It's got those nice lines going down inside, so you don't have to add the electrical lines. And the nice thing is these electrical lines, these communication unit leads, sometimes on a figure that's molded, a styrene molded figure, the part will just be kind of shaped like this. Illustration time. Say this is the cross section of the torso of the figure. This line, if you were to chop them in half and look at it from the end, those communication lines would be shaped like this due to molding limitations with styrene, whereas on this figure, again, a cross section, it's like this, so it actually looks like electrical lines, not just. So nice undercut details, what it boils down to. Nice zipper detail on his the lower part of his uniform. Shoelace details really fine. So it looks like a pretty good figure. Little rough in spots, face, but I think when painted that'll be nice. Now there is a bit of, can't tell if that's supposed to be there or not, but there's like a little seam down along his jawline, and going down into his neck. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be there or not, but looks pretty good. Looks like a good figure. Be nice to put in the commander's hatch. So that's the figure. And then last we have this here, which I do not know what this is. So let me crack it open and see if it says. There's a bit of yellow ribbon, an emblem of some kind. And if you people know what this is, put it in the comments section down below, because I don't know what it is. And this is in some Asian language that I don't read. And it has, looks like some Hebrew right there. I do make out the date 1970, a 25, a 925. Some other numbers, 1975. So don't know what this is. So folks, if you know what this is, please let us know in the comments section down below, because that's kind of a neat little addition to the kit, whatever it is. I don't know, maybe it's an award, or you know, I don't know. So please put it in the comments section down below if you know what this is, because I'd really be interested to know. So that concludes all of the box contents. So there you have it. That is the Amusing Hobby IDF Shot Cal Aleph Valley of Tears 1973 in 1/35 scale. Looks like a really nice kit. Keith, if you watch this here video, I'll be interested to see how this turns out. So you might want to put this on one of the front burners of your model kit projects. So I hope you all enjoyed this quick look at the kit and what's in the box. If any of you have any experience with this particular kit or Amusing Hobby kits in general, I'd really like to hear your, or read your comments in the comments section down below. So as always, thanks for watching Plastic Models by the Regular Dude, and short review number 4. So until next time, I will see you all later.